Hey fellas, so today I think I'm gonna talk about debt. The stock market's going crazy because of the new tariffs, and it all inspired me to start talking about, debt, right? Like, is it good? Is it bad? Well, the answer to that question is depends how you use it, right? You use debt to take out something very expensive, something that's really unnecessary, or something that's really needed, but you don't have the cash for it and you want to finance it. There's a huge debate, but ultimately I believe in, zero debt. But if we want to buy a house in the future, then we need to show proof of, you know, how good we are in terms of handling debt. And the way I do it is this: if there's a way to improve my credit score without paying any interest at all, and along the way I earn points to cover trips, flights, etc. There's no organization to what I'm going to talk about right now. I just want to talk about that and how, like, what's my point of view, how I use it to my advantage, and how I paid $0 in total interest on all the debts that I have. I pay $0 in interest because I carry no debt month to month. If I have to cover something like, utility bills or food, then I go ahead and put that on my credit card. As the payment hits on my account statement, I go ahead and pay it off in full. And depending on the credit card, you would receive 1% cash back to 3% cash back, depending on the credit card that you have. Some credit cards give you up to 4%, depending on certain limitations that certain credit cards have. But if you use it well, reap a lot of rewards. It also depends on how you plan to pay that debt back. It really depends how you pay that debt back, because you don't want to end up owing a lot in interest that will eat up any rewards that you get from points, right? We know that the average credit card interest rate is anything above 20%, which is a lot. I would rather have the extra points that comes from it by paying the debt in full as soon as the payment reaches my account statement. I think that's the only way anybody should use debt. Everybody talks about, hey, like, we should use these points to help cover partially or in full our flights or trips to a certain part in the world. I do that for myself, but it also depends. We also have to take into account how much of your balance do you take over month to month, and the interest rate on that balance, because it wouldn't make sense to pay 20% when you get 4% back on something. Backwards math right there, and then we're not going to do that. Therefore, I encourage everybody here who doesn't have a credit card and who is a student, you can go ahead and apply to be for a credit card for students for a few things. Build your credit history from the ground up. Pay your balances in full by the end of the month, or as soon as you get the payment on your credit account. That will bring in at minimum 1% back for all of based on what you paid in full by the end of that month. And of course, the points of the cashback are going to stack up, and eventually you're gonna have some money to use at your leisure when you're ready to take that vacation. I do have to throw caution, however. It is a lot faster. It is a lot easier. It is less painful for us to pay with a piece of plastic instead of using cash. Nobody wants to hand out $100 to the cashier. That hurts. It feels a lot seamless when you pay with a credit card, and I feel like it makes you feel a little bit empowered that you are able to cover $100+ bill when you go out, whatever, for food with the friends or what have you, right? To my point, The warning that I want to share here is that if you're gonna pay with a credit card, make sure that you're paying for something that's reasonable and not for something that's too expensive just because you want more points back, just because you can. It's also more important to keep your spending habits in check. Okay. And the second warning I want to share with you guys is that having a credit card is cool, but it's also dangerous depending on how you use it. You can very much go negative in your return. You can very much go negative with the credit card if you end up paying interest on the debt that you carry over from month to month. So you're gonna have to take that into account when you're opening up a new credit card. And please do your research. For those of you that have a good standing with a credit card account, so you have a reasonably like green. For those of you that have a reasonable history with credit, something in between 700 plus, and you're looking into opening up a new credit card that that yields more returns towards flights, that has a lot more perks. No, it's some of these credit cards will definitely charge annually, so anywhere from 95 minimum to 350, just like the American Gold. You also have other cards like the Platinum and the Sapphire Reserve from Chase. That's one is from the last time I checked, one is 550, and the other one's like 700 plus. Those cards I do not have, nor do I ever want to have those cards. They're a bit too much for me. Those cards are designed for those who travel a lot more frequently, maybe for business, maybe they just have a lot more money to burn, or what have you. I think the majority of people aren't at that level just yet. I'm being hopeful for everybody here. But to my point, if you're going to start looking into those credit cards that give you more benefits for, I don't know, for flights, a lot more miles back that you can use to roll over to your airline account, and transfers over a lot more miles. For example, I think the most recent one I've seen was American Express with Delta, and Delta is partners with Air France, and if I roll over 1,000 in miles, then I would get 1.2k in miles over at Air France frequent flyer account. Those are some of the benefits that you can get in order to maximize the amount of points that you have. And so that's the second warning. If you're going to get a travel card, make sure you get the one that's most appropriate for yourself. If you want to start traveling, but not at the frequent flyer. If you want to open up a new credit card, a new travel card, I should say, but you're starting to get into traveling, you're not a frequent traveler yet, you can go ahead and start looking into one of those second tier cards that aren't as expensive annually, yet still provide a reasonable amount of benefits for these for mileage, for traveling, the most bang for your buck, if you will. Another thing that I would share is just make sure to keep your money in check. The third warning is that, hey, like, if you have money to pay for it in cash, you can go ahead and do it, but you pay with credit card, assuming and only if that you are going to pay that debt off in full as soon as the payment hits your credit card account. And my first warning is that if you have a credit card, then you're a lot more prone to start spending like crazy. You become a bit more reckless because it's less painful. It's less painful to give up $100 bill to a cashier as opposed to swiping. The second warning that I want to share with you guys. The second warning that I want to share with you guys is that, hey, like, if you're gonna start traveling and you want to look into a travel card, pick the correct card for yourself. If you're not traveling yet, but you want to start getting into the credit card game, Please still look into the type of credit card that you're gonna get. Some credit cards out there aren't worth it. The third one is that, hey, like, if you have the money to pay for it in cash, then go ahead and do it. You pay with the credit card, and please, as soon as you get hit with the credit card payments, then go ahead and do it. Go ahead and pay it off in full, so you avoid paying off any interest that the bank would charge you. And you could go ahead, as soon as you pay it off in full, you can go ahead and start stacking up those points that you can later then transfer to airline partners. And yeah, I think that's about it. I'm gonna start commentating more around finance. Um, I'm also I'm also I was also a college student a bit a while ago, so I think I'm gonna start talking about college. I am into cars too, so I think I'm gonna start into. I think I'm gonna start to commentate around cars. I guess you guys have noticed because of the Need for Speed games that I've been uploading, and yeah, finance, education, cars, and I think just overall like life topics in general, like dealing with the family death, dealing with um, the being lost, being trying to figure out for yourself and trying to make sure that whatever you're doing isn't gonna go to waste, stuff like that. So if you are interested in those kind of topics, go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. It'll really help. It'll really help out this channel. I am building it from the ground up, so anybody who listens to this second or third, I think, commentary video, just know that uh, I'm gonna start be out there. I'm going to start to be out there and hopefully gain some traction sometime soon. All right, then, fellas. Thanks for listening in. We'll speak to you guys. Well, maybe soon. Hopefully soon. All right then.